Then in ice hockey, who can forget the great Al Michaels, 1980, game against the Soviet Union where he had his iconic call. Do you believe in miracles? Yes, along with Ken Dryden on color commentary. And interestingly enough, that was just the second hockey game Al Michael had ever covered. It's pretty cool to have the most iconic call in sports history, and it's only your second hockey game. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Reed. I'm the host of My Boomer Buddies podcast, where we tell it like it was and is. And today's episode is no exception. I was watching the Olympics with my wife and my two adult sons, and it brought back some memories because I have not watched the Olympics for the last probably 8 years, and today it brought out some memories, real nostalgia. The Olympics, for me as a child, was must-watch TV. I followed the results in the newspaper. I was engaged fully with my dad, my siblings watching it. So what I want to do today is maybe just bring up some memories, throw out some names, see what it does for you. Of course, as a kid, I can remember the host was Jim McKay, also of ABC's Wide World of Sports. Jim McKay hosted 8 Winter Games for ABC. And also, Bob Costas hosted for many years 11 Olympics on NBC. That's pretty incredible. And Mike Tirico of NBC, he has hosted 5 consecutive Winter Olympics. And of course, we can't forget, boomers, Walter Cronkite, he hosted for CBS the first televised Winter Olympics. Pretty cool. Well, let me throw some iconic event commentators at you. If you think of figure skating, you got to think of Dick Button. He did it for ABC and CBS. Very, very astute analysis, and he didn't hold back all the time. Just immortal. And then, of course, you had the great Scott Hamilton, Tara Lipinski, and Johnny Weir. They're all great skaters in their own right. And then ice hockey, who can forget Al Michaels? The 1980 game against the Soviet Union where he had his iconic call. Do you believe in miracles? Yes, along with Ken Dryden on color commentary. Interestingly enough, that was just the second hockey game Al Michael had ever covered. It's pretty cool to have the most iconic call in sports history, and it's only your second hockey game. Let's see, other ice hockey commentators we should mention is Mike Emmerich and Kenny Albert. Alpine skiing, Chris Schenkel covered that. I loved Chris Schenkel's style. He was just smooth. Gave it to you pretty straight and poetically too. You had Frank Gifford, Dan Hicks, and Ted Ligety. It's alpine skiing, speed skating, Keith Jackson. Folksy, home, Keith Jackson, loved that guy. Whatever sport he was doing, I would listen. And you had Dan Jansen, and then, of course, the legendary Apollo Anton Ono. Snowboarding, Todd Richards. Shaun White makes his debut this year in 2026. Another iconic guy is Art Devlin, and he did ski jumping and way out over his skis. I remember him saying that quite a bit. And so all these names from the past, they put it together and made it very palatable for us to watch and get excited about. Well, ABC had covered it in the 60s into the 80s. Jim McKay, Chris Schenkel, Keith Jackson mainly. CBS era in the 90s. Notable hosts were Greg Gumbel, Jim Nantz, and Paula Zahn. In the ABC era, 2002 to the present, Bob Costas and now Mike Tirico, with daytime hosting Becca Lowe. Jim McKay on the opening of ABC's Wide World of Sports, and I can remember some iconic things from that show. One of them is that ski jumper on the platform getting ready to go fell. Thus the quote, "the agony of defeat." Hopefully you can remember that. His name was Vjako Bogataj. He was 22-year-old Slovenian, and he competed for Yugoslavia. And he couldn't believe he was famous because he's very famous in America. And one time Muhammad Ali came up to him for his autograph, and he couldn't believe that. Yeah, the Olympics hold a special place in my heart growing up. How about you boomers out there? Let me know what your memories are from the Olympics. Speed skaters, Bonnie Blair and Eric Heiden, they're back on this year's coverage, and it's pretty cool to see them. And that kind of made me think and share some of this with you. So let me know some of your heroes from the Olympics. Doesn't matter what it is, the hockey, the skating, ski jumping, which was my favorite personally, and anything else. I am Rick Reed, My Boomer Buddies podcast, bringing back nostalgic topics like old movies, old TV shows, old rock and roll, old country music, popular music. We just did a set of 3 Mount Rushmore themed shows where Trevor J. Brown and myself, we covered our favorite female singers in one episode, famous male singers in another episode, and the most recent one, favorite bands or groups that you would put on Mount Rushmore. All selective. There's no wrong answers, but thanks for following those episodes. I've got over 100 episodes on the channel. There's so many good topics, like my great friend Quincy Stringham going to Woodstock as a teenager. He still has his old transistor that his father bought him as a teenager, and there's many, many more. World champion marathoner Dick Beardsley, many talents. My Boomer Buddies podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And the channel is growing, and I thank you for that. I don't make any money off of this. It's purely for enjoyment. Keep my boomer brain going. If you have any topics you want covered on here, please let me know. You can catch us on YouTube. See the video part. I put pictures in. Makes it even more pleasurable. And if you listen to podcasts audibly, please check us out on Buzzsprout and Spotify. I do this for fun. It's just a retirement hobby, and I really appreciate your input. I've got almost 500 subscribers. You got to boost me up a little bit here, and I love to include you in projects that I do. I really look forward to hearing from you and keep moving this forward. So in this episode, we went back to think about past Winter Olympics and who the commentators were, the announcers, and some of the people that were in the Olympics, and just good memories. I'm curious to see what it brought out in you. Fun times, brought some excitement in our lives. I'm Rick Reed, My Boomer Buddies podcast. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the block.